So this is our handheld vacuum Easy, is what we call it. There's a problem with it, so we're going to go and figure out what's wrong with it. We've got all the tools we need around us to make sure that we're ready, and so let's go.
So just to say as well, the handheld vacuum runs at quite a low power level, so it's okay to use this. It's not mains powered equipment, so for safety reasons I wouldn't want us looking at those, but this is a 12 volt supply up to around 2 amps, so from the electrical perspective all of the electrical safety is managed outside of this handset, so it's okay to open it up. So how have we opened it up?
You see there are screws here. There's screw holes. You have to unscrew all the screws inside those holes, and then you'll be able to open it.
Okay, so the main symptom we faced with this was that we weren't able to operate the device, so when we turned it on it wasn't providing suction. There was no sound for the motor actuating or anything like that, and we had a suspicion that there was something electrical going on because it was working for a while, but you could hear the battery draining, and when we were trying to recharge it, it clearly wasn't being recharged, so there was an issue with that. So this is what it looks like. It's a fairly simple design. It's got an impeller here which sucks in air, creating the vacuum source through the nozzle that you have, and electrically it's relatively straightforward. It's got a motor here which turns this impeller. It's got a little battery bank here which is 7.4 volts and runs up to 2.2 amp hours, and we've got a switch here which is a barrel jack connector that allows us to recharge. That provides power input to recharge this battery bank, and we've obviously got a sliding switch terminal here which allows for connection of the electrical power from the battery onto the motor. So a fairly simple structure. Looking at those connections seem relatively straightforward. So we've got one here. So the electrical connector to the barrel jack has separated, so we've got a loose terminal here. So what we're going to need to do is use our soldering iron and remake this connection so that we can recharge the device. Okay, so your review might not be ideal here, but we've got a loose wire that we're going to solder onto this joint. I have a soldering iron. We've got some soldering wire here, which is a lead-based solder, and we're going to perform this in a well-ventilated area. So just be very careful because the soldering irons are hot. But in order to complete this, it's got a nice bit of exposed wire at the end. We'll feed that through the hole in the terminal, which I've just tidied up, and then we will use the soldering iron just to melt a little bit of solder over the end of that joint. So just want to make sure that's well connected there, but just want to put a little bit of security so this joint doesn't open up again. There we go. So once the soldering iron is removed, that joint solidifies, and you can see there's forming quite a nice little joint on the terminal. So just feed these wires back in and we'll reassemble the unit.
So as you can see, we've reassembled the body of it and screwed in all the screws. So now we're going to test it to see if it works again.
So just connect the power supply and then turn on the button. So that's the first time we've heard this working for quite a long time, so that's very happy with that.
It's as simple as that. If you like this video, please subscribe, leave a comment or like. Until next time, bye for now.